Hey, my name's Alhena, and I got a bunch of requests asking for a tutorial as to how to play the Camp Camp song, or at least the way I did it, presumably. So yeah, here it is. The first whole stanza half thing is pretty easy. First third is it's all just sustained, and it's just D, E, A, D, E minor, D, B minor, and then A, and back to D. And so to break it down into two separate sections, the first part is just D, E, A, D, for there's a place I know that's tucked away, a place where you and I can stay, where we can go to laugh and play and have adventures every day. And then the next section is, I know it sounds hard to believe, but guys and gals, it's true. Camp Campbell is the place for me and you. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole first stanza. Next, this is where the left hand comes in. I like to just, so that's like A, B, C sharp, and then hit the D, and then immediately hit the D chords, and then just keep D chording in succession, like that. And it's the same chords for the first half, so it's we'll swim through lakes and climb up. We'll swim through lakes and climb up trees, catch fish, bugs, bears, and honeybees. There's endless possibilities, and oh, that's not hyperbole. But but this time, instead of immediately going to the E minor chord, stay on the D chord, and then slowly progress to the E chord, then to the G chord, and then to the A chord. So that's our motto's Camp ADM, and that means I'm telling you. And so, in total, that makes we'll swim through lakes and climb up trees, catch fish, bugs, bears, and honeybees. There's endless possibilities, and no, that's not hyperbole. Our motto's Camp ADM, and that means I'm telling you. And then this next part is just D, E minor, G, and A, just over and over and over again. But there's also the left-hand part, which is kind of different. So remember at the beginning of the stanza when you go, it's the opposite of that. So it's D, C sharp, B, A. So it'll sound, and between every note you play a D chord, so it'll be and you do a full cycle of this that thing twice, and then you move up to the E chord, and then it'll go E, D, C sharp, B. So then you move up to the G chord, where it's G, F sharp, E, D, for, and then when you get to the A chord, you only do it once. So it's A, G, F sharp, E, but only once. So, and then you immediately go back down to the D, and you go back to your original bouncy thing, then E, and then G, and A, and then back down to D. So, yeah, that was kind of a lot, but there's archery, hiking, Stitcher-asky biking, horseback training that'll save you from a heart attack, scuba dive, miming, keeping up with rhyming, football, limbo, science, stunting, Greek house, spaceships, treasure hunting, bomb defusal, no refusal, fantasy, circus, juppies, and fights and ghosts and paints and snakes and knives and chess and dance and weights. It's Camp is the whole song. So yeah, thank you for watching and enjoying it, and I hope this was helpful at all. Also, just so you know, people might find the whole thing, it's a little bit like confusing, especially during that whole fast part, but I find that it helps to associate a word or like a little phrase with every finger. So like archery, hiking, search and rescue, biking, and so I've associated those with like the first four and then so on and so forth until, you know. The hard part about that is just like keeping the chords going. Yeah. So thank you for watching. And also, there is a link to the original Tumblr post where I posted the Camp Song. And if you have a Tumblr and you liked that, maybe you could do me a favor and like reblog that, because then more people can see it and more people like will acknowledge my existence, and I'll be more motivated to produce more content. Yeah, thank you.